What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday night. I just thought I'd pop on really quickly. It's pretty rainy here in South Beach. It's pretty much been raining all day. Really on and off rain, I'd say. Spent most of the day getting some things organized around the house. Checking out the markets. Doing a little post analysis. It's actually kind of nice when it's rainy out in Miami. It's quite peaceful. Hey, Nicholas, what's going on? Alan, cheers. His lazy Saturday here. Nothing wrong with that. Tatted T, Ben, Lance, welcome everybody. We're right outside of the... Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Hey, Ellis, what's up? Zozo Bob. Zozo Bob, is it raining up north where you are? DC322, what's going on? Good to see you. Nicholas says, what hotel is that? This is an awesome hotel. It's called the One Hotel and Residences. Wow, Mark Summers, Cabo. What's going on in Cabo? Are you just vacationing or business, pleasure, a little bit of both? Very nice. Feels kind of cold in Miami, not gonna lie. DC322, Hal T, what's going on? Mark Summers says, yes sir, 2 weeks of pleasure, we'll enjoy it. Enjoy it, my friend. S&P 500 all-time record highs last week. Got some inflation data coming out. 2.4%. Very kind of uncharacteristic for the market to be very, very strong into the election, but all good. Hey, Professor Dario, what's going on? Nicholas says, I know because it is disgusting. Well, north of Florida, it's really warm. Oh yeah, Mark Summers says, but you know how it is. When on vacation, you always feel business calls, Murphy's Law, for sure. It's crazy because every time that I actually try to take off, meaning like not do any work, people that I've been chasing down for 6 months, a year, trying to get them on a call or trying to connect, they always come around and say, hey, are you free? I just have my schedule freed up. I'd love to jump on a call. I'd love to, figure out that investment you were pitching me. And it's always, every single time, whenever I try to go away. It's the craziest thing. I feel as if I should try to go away more, and then I could get more deals done. Sally, what's going on? Good to see you. I think this is Sirius XM. Someone was asking me what this building is. I don't know if you guys saw, but I think Warren Buffett has slowly been accumulating a massive position in Sirius Radio. Kind of interesting. I saw that on X today. UniJ23, what's going on? I was doing some home projects. I was trying to do like a DIY project today. I'm trying to build a wall in my Florida room. For those of you who don't know, like a Florida room is kind of like a mud room. Kind of wraps around in an L shape. So what I'm thinking about doing is I just want to build like a little divider wall with a door so I can make that like a separate room. Because I'm thinking about the house, and I usually rent out the individual rooms And the Florida room is big enough to be its own kind of room. So I could easily rent that out for like $800. It would have its own separate entrance. It just needs a wall. I just need to put a wall up. So I'm trying to do that actively at the house. It's going okay. Not going the best, but it's going okay. This is a good Argentine steak spot here. They also have a location in Brickell. You can kind of see Leo Messi, his poster right there. Tomas is Ocean Drive. No, this is still Collins Avenue. We should be into Ocean Drive in maybe 20 minutes. Curtis is here. What's going on? Mr. Nate. Welcome, everybody. Zozo Bob, yes, just get those permits. Yes, permits have been secured. Let's just say that. Everything is secured by the book. Everything is secured. It's interesting to think about, real estate. The way kind of I think about it is if it's producing income, right, if it throws off cash, I would consider it an investment. If it's not, if you're just living in it, which is fine, and it's not throwing off any cash, I would kind of generalize that as like a consumer good. But if you have a portfolio of single family and you can kind of house hack it by renting out the individual rooms, that's a really good way to get started. And they generate a lot of cash. Ben says most people in Miami are afraid of the rain. Is that true? I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself a full-on Miamian yet. But
what is name?
Curtis is how far are you from Deco Drive? I'm not too sure. This is Collins Avenue, right across the street from Collins Park. I always think about that Warren Buffett interview. This was just as the financial crisis was kind of winding down. In hindsight, right? Nobody really knows at the time. But the interviewer asked Warren Buffett, he's like, what do you think is going to be the best investment over the next decade? And he said, well, if I had the means to do it, I'd probably buy a basket of 1,000+ single-family homes. But he's just like, Berkshire just doesn't have the capacity to do it. And if you think about that payoff from 2010 to now, Buffett was kind of like spot on. I mean, the prices of single-family homes have gotten just absolutely insane, just crazy. So I think if you're a mom-and-pop operator, if you can like slowly accumulate maybe a portfolio of 10, the numbers are doable. The numbers are very, very doable, particularly if you're near like a college town or something. You live in one of the rooms, you rent the others out. You do that for 3 years, you build up some equity. You do that with a second property. And over 10 years, you could accumulate a pretty decent portfolio. And then maybe a little later on down the road, you could roll all of that up, sell it off as like a package deal, and then you could make like a big concentrated bet into like maybe a big multifamily deal where you don't have to take on any, partners. It's interesting. Hey, what's up, Dale? What's going on? Ali, cheers. Thanks for joining. Alan says on the topic of Sirius XM, allegedly they're headquartered in Midtown Manhattan. I think you're right. I think they have a little office here that we just passed. But it's interesting that Buffett is accumulating a pretty, sizable position in Sirius XM. You wouldn't think that radio would be like the hot commodity, but maybe it is. I mean, do we have any people in radio that work in radio? Maybe the advertising is still lucrative, like the ad revenue? I don't know. This is on 20th Street. Beautiful Art Deco style buildings. Pappas says, in addition, the tax laws are advantageous for real estate. For sure, yeah. It's just over time, I feel as if people think that it's very unattainable to kind of get started. And I was just thinking about this today because I was doing some cleaning, trying to build this wall, and I stumbled across some of the first books I ever read about investing in real estate. And it's so true. If you just start small and just take it one step at a time, it's very, very possible, over the course of 10 to 15 years to accumulate like a $15 to $20 million portfolio. I wonder what place this is. Never been here. It looks like a nightclub of some sort. Oh wow, Dale's Sirius XM is located at 1221 Avenue of the Americas, close to Rockefeller Center. Yeah, we walk by that every day. Very cool. Hey JC, what's going on? Cheers. Chris B says, seems like mixing commercial and real estate is super beneficial to the portfolio. I guess it just depends on what you're good at and what you want to do long term. But I would agree. It's also kind of the factor that we talked about. Do you want to inconvenience yourself? Because living with roommates, it is a pain in the ass, right? Just to be very, very blunt and curt about it. But, if you're just a new college grad and you have a job and you could manage, depending on what market you're in, right? You could manage to save up, let's say $20,000 to $30,000. You use that down payment for the house and you live in one of the rooms, and then you move 3 other people into the guest rooms. Maybe they're students, maybe they're grad students. And there's a big market for that. Obviously, again, not a lot of people want to do that, but if you can kind of suck it up and do that in the interim, it's a really good way to get started. Specifically, if you're in markets close to big universities, right? I think, parts of Arizona this would probably work quite well for. It's very difficult to do that in Manhattan because the prices of real estate are so outrageous. It's so hard for a first-time home buyer. It's interesting because a lot of the clients that I work with in Manhattan, they say, yeah, I'm a first-time home buyer. My budget's $2.1 million, right? And $2.1 million, if you want to buy new development or something in a nice area, that's going to get you a 2-bedroom apartment, right? 1,500 square feet. This is now 18th Street. Chris B says, buy a 4 or a 6-plex and live in one apartment while renting out the other units. That's a really good idea too. It's a great way to get into it, for sure. Someone says, stroll to Star Island. I wish we could. Wish we could, my friend. I'm going to try to wipe the camera lens. Hey, DC, what's going on? Since we have the light, we might as well cross over this way. Now it's strange, oftentimes when it rains in Miami, I oftentimes say it feels colder sometimes than New York, just because the humidity. When the humidity's high and then it rains and it's in like the low 70s, it's cold. Ben says, have I been to Nikki Beach? You know, I haven't, but I've walked past it. I think that is in the south of 5th neighborhood, and it's like a very, very expensive, like tourist kind of place. I don't know, what about you? Have you been there? Mark, cheers, New England Crypto, what's going on? Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome to South Beach. You know, I was thinking about it, and I'm very kind of out of touch with how much it costs to live on campus at colleges, just because I'm so far removed from that kind of age range now. But just for fun, you know, I was looking at like the cost of, you know, dorming, like dormitories and stuff on college campuses and rural campuses, like parts of Florida, parts of New York, more rural New York. I mean, these kids could be spending like, you know, $25,000 a year just to live on campus, which is crazy. I never knew it cost that much to just live on the campus. So, I mean, you know, to rent a room to a kid for $1,000, I mean, the parents would for sure do that. That's probably why so many kids after freshman year, they try to move out of the dorms and, you know, try to find a house or something, just because it's so much more affordable. But then again, if you're gonna, you know, buy a home and rent it to college kids, the risk goes up because they're probably gonna trash it. So maybe the target market would be like graduate students. Hey Scott, what's going on? Good evening to you. Cheers. Thanks for joining on this very windy and rainy night in Miami. We're in South Beach on the corner of 17th Street. Ben says most houses near campuses are rentals, lots of money usually. Got it. This is the Gale. This has a really nice outdoor dining setup here. Let me give you guys a shot of these Art Deco buildings across the way. Hey, John says, yeah, Tom, we paid $1,200 a month, Canadian dollars for my daughter. That's not bad. $1,200 a month. CAD. So does she live on campus or off campus? If it's on campus, then that's kind of Yeah, that's not too bad. I guess I don't know what part of Canada it is. I have a friend in Toronto, and again, I'm not too familiar with the Toronto market. John says shared off campus with 2 roommates. Okay, that's not bad. I have this buddy in Toronto that says if you think the housing market in the US is crazy, he's like, try getting a place in Toronto. Like a starter home in Toronto, like the suburbs, like in and around. He's like, you're probably talking about like 800,000 US, maybe even to $1 million US, which is wild. Wild. Because, I mean, the interesting thing about Canada, right? I think over 90% of the population lives like quite literally right on top of the US border. The country is massive. I mean, the country of Canada is huge, but most of the population is slammed right on the border. All right, this is Lincoln Road. Oh, wow. New England crypto, awesome. I'm glad the weather is good where you are. All right, let's cross with the light here. I should be back in New York Tuesday. I'm getting an early morning flight out of Miami International to JFK. But you know what? I may start to try to fly into LaGuardia. Anyone see that new Uber? I think it's like an Uber van that'll take you from LaGuardia Airport into the city for $8. That's not too bad, but then again, I really don't like being in a van. I'd rather take a train, but I think it'd probably be worth it because for whatever reason, the flights from New York to Miami tend to be cheaper from LaGuardia. I have no idea why. Yeah, someone says exchange rates suck for US to Canada. Yeah, and you know what's interesting? I was going to bring this up last night, but the US dollar, the Dixie, had really rallied last week, which should have put pressure on US equities, but it didn't. DC322 says they should do the JFK shuttle too. Well, it's so easy to get from JFK to New York City. Peter says it's a $9 promotional price for 1 month and it's $18. Got it. Interesting. We were talking yesterday that Uber stock breaking into new all-time record highs. Hey, Justin says, hey, Tom. Oh, no way. I see you outside of my window across the street. That's insane. There seems to be a lot of people out in Miami. I think we saw a few other people last night near South Point Park. A lot of you guys are either living in Miami or visiting, which is great. Hopefully you're enjoying it. 16th Street. D says, I stayed at the hotel right down the block and across the street back in August. Are you talking about this Royal Palm Hotel? Or Lowe's? They have good landscaping here. Zach says, Tom, what is your usual choice of airlines? I always fly American, but I may change it up. For whatever reason, there's just like a very, very high number of flights from New York to Miami with American Airlines, and it tends to be very, very cheap. Oof. I don't know, what about you? What is your preferred airline? I always try to stick with one. Airline. And he says, can U.S. citizens buy real estate in Canada? I think so. I would assume so. I mean, if you want to talk about Canadians, tons and tons of Canadians are here in South Florida. Ren 1018 says, why would anyone use Sirius XM? Well, it's interesting because Warren Buffett has been accumulating a massive position in Sirius XM. I don't know why, but just for kicks, I added the stock to the watch list just to track it. We'll see. I've seen a lot of JetBlue, Emirates, Delta. Ben's is Delta medallion member since forever. Very nice. Zach says, I'll just use whatever airline my credit card has deals with at the time. Makes sense. Oops. Peters says Delta has nonstop from Knoxville to LaGuardia, and they use Atlanta and Memphis as a hub. Nice. Mark Francis says, yeah, any airline that's not a 737 MAX. Dale says, I listen to Sirius XM on my way back to work. The broadcast radio has way too many commercials. So that's the business model. I guess it's like a subscription commercial. It's a subscription-based platform. How much do you pay, by chance, for Sirius XM? I heard that the only reason why people pay for Sirius XM is for Howard Stern, I'd assume. Right? Isn't he the biggest show on that platform? Greg says it's $8 a month. Yeah, I mean, so for hardcore Howard Stern fans, they'd pay $8 a month for that, right? Leslie, what's going on? Oh, Alan says you're paying $9.99 a month for it? So what do you listen to on it? Like, what are your top go-to shows or channels? Peters says Berkshire owns 31% of the company. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Buffett is accumulating a monster position, which has intrigued me to investigate it a little bit more. Alan's is personally sports talk radio. Nice. mean, it's a huge market. I'm so surprised to see that so many people in the chat pay for Sirius XM. I never knew that. Matthew M, good to see you. Welcome to South Beach on this very rainy night. I think it's going to rain all day tomorrow too. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Andy says Joe Rogan. I don't think Joe Rogan is on Sirius, right? Doesn't he have a big Spotify deal? Something along those lines? This is walking down towards Ocean Drive. Alan says it's cheap and I get entertainment value out of it. For sure. Definitely worth the cost. I'm going to do some more diligence to see what their revenue growth is at Sirius XM. Because if Buffett is accumulating that big of a position in it, there must be something of value there. Again, I'm not too familiar with the company, but big task at hand. This is, have I heard about the controversy surrounding the 737 planes? I have not. Is that just the same Boeing controversy where the planes are just terrible? They're having all the issues. Doors flying off. It seems like everything that's Boeing is a major problem for whatever reason. Yeah, Mark Francis says, and they crash. So yeah, I've definitely heard about it. I think the other night we were talking about how Boeing got a government contract to send astronauts into space, and then Elon Musk's company had to go back up there and get them. Funny how that kind of works. Now, this Hurricane Milton, came through Florida. We really didn't get any of it, but it seems like the weather is worse now than through Milton. When Milton was coming through the state of Florida, it was actually pretty nice weather here in Miami. But, oh, that too. Yeah, they're laying off 10% of their workforce, which is insane. I think that company needs a new CEO, to be honest. Yeah, Lee says Boeing equals DEI for sure. I don't know. The whole thing seems a little bit too crazy for me. See, a lot of times those like abysmal performing stocks, I won't even really keep up with because they're not on the new 52-week high list. Joel PM. Oof. Says Boeing outsourced 70% of the design engineering. Yeah, it's pretty much just like a big shell company. Oops. Let's head back northbound. I think it's going to be too windy. Oops, hold on. Had to disconnect the mic. So we may have increased wind noise, but it's okay. We'll head back up. Hey, Marcelo Gill, what's going on? Long time no see. Hopefully you're doing well. Oh, Marcelo, you stayed here for your birthday. Very cool. I think with a lot of these companies, these great American companies that falter, the problem is that they get too comfortable and they suffer from corporate bloat, and the company deteriorates significantly. You saw the same thing with General Electric too. I feel as if General Electric has gone on an amazing run-up, collapsed, gone on an amazing run-up, collapsed again. It's the most cyclical company out there. Hey, Esmeralda, what's going on? Good to see you. Gene S's bureaucracy is a big thing, for sure. The more, I would say, the smaller the company, the more nimble you could be. It's kind of like the old saying in Silicon Valley, you know, move fast and break things, right? If you're a big, you know, structured, organized company, you really can't move fast and break things. You need 30 million different approvals for stuff. That's just kind of how it works, unfortunately. But if you're, you know, 2 kids running your company out of a studio apartment, you could do things immediately. This is the Hyatt Centric on 16th Street. 44, what's going on? Welcome to South Beach. New England Crypto, which credit union? I always see that Navy credit union around Miami. I've never been a part of a credit union, but from what I hear, they're pretty decent. If you don't want to deal with the likes of Jamie Dimon. Sam M, what's going on? Let's see if we can cross here. Yeah, I'm curious to see what location a lot of those 17,000 plus jobs are going to be lost. There's a good pizza spot over here. I know. Someone says it wasn't even supposed to rain tonight. It's been raining on and off all day. Hasn't been like so bad, but it's definitely cooled things down a little bit. Arctic Paratrooper, what's going on? Someone says, what's the pizza place called? This place right here. Italian something. It's actually not bad. They serve pastas and all things like that too. It's a pretty good spot. Do you ever walk down Atlantic Avenue up by Delray Beach? I usually don't have time to go up that way, but I want to start exploring like Hollywood, Florida a little bit. There's been a lot of changes up there. Now, Hollywood, Florida used to not be so nice, but they've really built it up over there. I also want to spend more time in like the Gables, Coral Gables, kind of over by the University of Miami. I just really never have time to go over that way. Monday I have a meeting up in Fort Lauderdale, and then Tuesday I'm flying back to New York. But then I have to come back to Miami again on the 18th. So I'll be like back and forth all month. (17th Street). Yeah, Zach's is a big fan of Coconut Grove. Coconut Grove is great. It's unfortunate that Coral Gables got so expensive. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, if you want to talk about expensive single-family homes, I mean, Coral Gables is, I mean, that's your number one topic of conversation there. Crunchy says, I've ever been to Pembroke Pines? Sorry, I could barely read it. His chat's going too fast. Look at this Cybertruck. This is the SLS Hotel. Wow, Esmeralda is one of my friends, moved up here to Tallahassee from Miami because of the cost. Yeah, I mean, there once was a time when Miami was more affordable than New York, but with all this new migration, Miami's pretty expensive. It's gotten as expensive, in some places more expensive than New York. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Yeah, Zach's, as I saw, Q3 was pretty slow for the Grove real estate market, north and south. I just also think in general, right? You know, transactions are still really, for the most part, not getting done in the residential market. We've talked about multiple reasons for that. I think there's something like almost 40% of all people who own homes don't have a mortgage, and about 90% of people who own a home and do have a mortgage are locked into fixed rate debt at very, very low interest rates. So there's really there has to be like a catalyst, right? I always say this for all those people talking about, you know, how there's going to be the next 2008 crash that's going to happen like right now. Well, there needs to be a catalyst. And if you think about what happened in 2008, it was caused by subprime mortgages, right? People couldn't pay their bills. And a lot of these mortgages had massive adjustables with big balloon payments. But it's completely different this time. I know the old saying on Wall Street is it's never different this time, but there are significant differences, right? There's not a whole lot of adjustable rate debt with unqualified buyers. I think if we could look on the bright side, the only positive thing that really came out of 2008, in my opinion, is that underwriting standards were improved significantly. So banks, for the most part, are generally not issuing these crappy loans. So a lot of times when I'm working with sellers, one of the things sellers will say is, I don't really need to discount the price because I'm not super motivated to sell it. Noodle says, do I think the high inflation will go away anytime soon? Well, we just got the CPI report out, 2.4%. Mixes with mortgage rates drop after a natural disaster. I don't think there's a correlation between weather and interest rates. Ooh, look at the rain now. Let's see if we can take some cover under here. I didn't know if it was going to be this windy. That's true. Tomahawk, his core inflation was up. That is true. I think what really matters is just like your personal inflation rate. But I think I'll sign off for now and end it here just because I want to get home before the storm gets any worse. But I will see you guys tomorrow here live at 8:45. If not, I'll see you back in New York on Tuesday night if I don't see you tomorrow. So take care. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay dry, and we will see you all soon. Take care.